So we talked about what was going on with ghosts, with the nameless ghouls coming forward, or at least some former nameless ghouls coming forward with a lawsuit for Tobias Forge, aka Papa Emeritus. And of course this has many questions surrounding it. We're going to address one of those in this video, but we do have some brand new information that does need to be passed on. Something that most of you may have already seen. However, for those who haven't, this may come as a bit of a shock. Tobias has gone on record to say that Ghost was never really formed with the band aspect really in mind. It was essentially meant to be his project, where the Nameless Ghouls were meant to be a revolving cast of musicians that were able to come in and help him out for the studio releases, as well as also on the live setting. That it was meant not to instead be him and 4 other gentlemen or ladies in a consistent environment, but instead it was supposed to have that door open for a little bit of change, because everything is really meant to be based around the things that he has written, that the songwriting was all based around his ideas, and basically that the biggest challenge was learning them to play like him, or teaching them how to play like him. Me need to learn English, obviously, especially whenever it comes to sentence structure. Either way, this is no doubt going to add some gasoline to the fire, especially considering some of these nameless ghouls have been a part of Ghost for multiple years, which seems to dismiss a little bit that whole revolving door philosophy, unless, of course, you want to go into semantics and realize that revolving door could also allow the window where certain musicians, if performing well or if the relationship seems to be good, would be invited back or simply not told to see the door. Now, this has all really come together because of Papa firing the rest of the Nameless Ghouls late last year and replacing them with a brand new set. And then, of course, we've gotten the information that stated that they had not been paid very well. In fact, during one year, they hadn't been paid whatsoever, and that the band is essentially in financial turmoil and has been for quite some time. That even though Ghost is one of the bigger bands that have come from the 2010s, they are still very much in financial trouble and have not been making money. This is, of course, very perplexing to a lot of people. There's been a ton of comments that have stated that this seems like a big old cavalcade of bullshit, and others that have stated that, well, if that's the case, then that's the case. This is definitely an interesting situation, to say the least. So the lawsuit is based around some back wages. It's based around the fact that the Nameless Ghouls felt that they had a real understanding with Tobias that this was a band, this was not a solo project that transformed into something else. It was really something that they felt like the clarity and the distinction is something that Tobias is stating that it never was. So, of course, we're going to continue to monitor the situation and speak about it whenever new information does come forward. But I must say, just as a secondary point as to how this news is kind of circulating, I don't traditionally hear a lot of news related to a lot of heavy metal on the radio. However, this was one that a local station to me, one that's actually based across state lines in Morgantown, West Virginia, was speaking about this at length this morning, this very morning, this Tuesday morning, April the 25th, I believe today is. Whatever the date is, it was spoken about on the radio. And I will say this, I will give a shout out to the DJ for suggesting that if they do go to court, and when they go to court, please wear the masks, wear the garb, go as Papa, don't go as Tobias Forge. But here's the question. Here's the thing that I think is on a lot of people's minds and has been on a lot of people's tongues. Does the mystique of Ghost now all of a sudden completely and totally dissipate? Does this band no longer have its charm or no longer feel like a decent band to those who like Ghost? We've, of course, discovered that a lot of people do not. With the 5 Reasons People Hate Ghost video, which we linked at the end of this video. Does this just kill Ghost? Does this kill the charm? Does this kill the mystique? Or is the music the thing that has got you inside, that became part of what you loved about Ghost? Or is it simply the fact that this is a big old get-up, you know, The anime isn't real, folks. This isn't something where your waifu is going to come out of the TV screen and decide that they're going to love you. I think that this is something that if it's not the music, if it's purely the way that they're dressed and their garb that has you hooked on this band, you need to understand that human beings exist underneath of that stuff, and it should be based around the music. It should be based around what they were able to bring to the table. The mystique side of that is, of course, a huge bonus that gives them a little bit of extra added charm. It gives them flair, and up until this point, there was a lot of showcase of commitment to those characters, but now, of course, the roof has kind of been blown wide open based off of these legal surroundings. So I want to know your opinion about that. Is that something where Ghost no longer has mystique or charm? They have now become this human band. They've essentially entered in to their 1980s Kiss era, only it wasn't by choice. It was instead based on virtue to these legal problems. And what do you think about what Tobias has said about this band being essentially a glorified solo project? Let me know in the comments below. We're, of course, going to keep track with this as it continues to morph and go to the legal cycle. I'm CoverkillerNation, and I'll talk to you then. Take care.